I'm not the biggest fan of Assassin's Creed. If I was, I'd be lying. But I am a fan nonetheless. I was introduced to the series through YouTube, around 2009 when I would go on YouTube and watch people play Batman Arkham Asylum. And it was through an old YouTuber that I learned of Assassin's Creed. He was amazing at Batman, and because he was so good, I wanted to watch him play something else. That's when I stumbled across his Assassin's Creed 2 walkthroughs. The game was still so new that he hadn't even finished it, but I was hooked. The setting, the story, the gameplay was extraordinary to me. Assassin's Creed 2 was my latest obsession. I watched every trailer, read every magazine. I couldn't wait till he posted the next video. I didn't have a PlayStation, but I wanted it solely for this game. I didn't know what the Renaissance was, but it wasn't the Renaissance I was interested in. It was a story, it was the characters, it was the world building, but most importantly, it was Ezio Auditore da Firenze. The story of Ezio is one of the best stories in all of video game media. His story goes from being one of a comedy to a tragedy in an amazingly beautiful way. We experienced what his life had been prior to becoming an assassin, but we then experienced his life after. A life his father had hid away from him so he would never become one. Ezio gives evidence showing his family is innocent, but unknowingly giving the evidence to the very man who betrayed them. He then sees his father and brothers hanged whilst being on the run. His first days of donning the robes of an assassin show that this life is only for the strong, the life of an assassin. Through the whole game, we see him mature and evolve. We see the responsibilities the Assassin's Creed hold. We see him avenging his family. We see him being told he's the prophet, and we see him humbled when he discovers he's just a messenger. We then see him again in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, giving us more time to spend with already one of the most captivating characters in recent memory. He's older, wiser, and more experienced. He continues to grow as a character as he loses what he had rebuilt from the ground up. He loses his home, his uncle. He has already lost so much, but he keeps going. In situations where most people would give up, Ezio brushes his shoulders off and keeps fighting. After the events of Brotherhood, we play as Ezio one last time. He's in his early 50s now, which is like being in your 90s in 1511. Not on a quest or a mission for the Brotherhood. He's a wanderer looking for answers. Due to his rank and experience in the Creed, he helps rebuild the Brotherhood in Constantinople. He meets a lovely woman and starts doubting the Creed. At the end of the game, when he talks to Desmond, he has more questions than answers. But he's okay with that. He now truly understands that he is just a messenger. When given the ability to learn more, he's at peace with his ignorance. He doesn't want to learn anymore. He's done. He just tells Desmond what he knows and retires from the Creed. That is the story of one of the greatest video game characters of all time. So far, I haven't even mentioned the settings, because at least to me, they aren't what make the game so great. Video games are the best way to tell both amazing stories and character-driven narratives. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the best games, arguably, of all time. That's because Rockstar had the time to develop the characters and story in the way they wanted. And I feel that Ubisoft hasn't done that for a game in years. My brother is a bigger fan than I am, and he doesn't know that Altair helped assassinate Genghis Khan. Altair is also another character that could have held his own title, but Ubisoft didn't want to. So many of the assassins we play as are strong enough to hold their own sequels, but are often neglected. Ubisoft thinks all the fans care about are the cool time periods and fun gameplay. So much so that the main characters have taken a back seat to them. They try to make a character that fits the time period, rather than a time period fitting the person. Do you really think I give a fuck about ancient Egypt? No, I really don't. But when you get me invested in this character who's on a quest for revenge after the death of his son, then I start to care. Ancient Greece is one of the best settings Assassin's Creed could have taken place in. But the biggest reason Ubisoft fumbled the bag, at least for me, is because I do not care about Alexios or Cassandra. Give me a character, make them good, then construct a world around them. I've fallen out of favor with this series because Ubisoft has given up on developing a character I care about. When the main character isn't your favorite, you've done something wrong. Ezio is beloved because we see him grow. We see him love. We see him hate. Happy, sad, done. Not because he's a man from the Renaissance. I don't think things are changing anytime soon. Valhalla was a huge success and so was Odyssey. Assassin's Creed is as popular as it ever was, and Ubisoft only care about being the popular guy in school. They don't care about the fans that helped them get there.